This is my review of Virginia Oaks Golf Course in Gainesville, Virginia. It is just off of 29, just south of 66. It's actually in a decent neighborhood. Not too upscale. It's kind of a nice, but not really upscale. It's okay. And the course is a neighborhoods woods course, yet another neighborhoods woods course in the Virginia area, Northern Virginia. This course was really a surprise in a few ways. It was surprisingly entertaining and fun to play. I thought it was a good challenge. It had some really interesting shots off the tee. It was a good challenge. Approach shots and nice elevated greens. It had some nice water shots. And overall, I thought it was a very good layout. It was one of the better layouts that I've played in the DC area. No question. It was at least in the top 10 in terms of the layout. The problem is the course is almost in ruins. It has, I would say, a natural vibe to it. As in, we don't really maintain the course. And if anything, we'll cut it once in a while, but we almost never water it. We, obviously there are, players that don't fix the divots, and a lot of the holes and fairways were chopped up with divots. A lot of the sand traps were not raked by players. But even so, a lot of the sand traps were just dirt with pebbles. I mean, not like little pebbles, significantly large size, like thumb-sized rocks in the sand traps. Some of the sand traps were okay. They were actually sand on, like the backside, I think the sand was in much better shape than the front. But on the front, the first hole was the short fairway in front of the green was sparse crabgrass at best. The green was all patchy. Some places it was just, brown or black, bare. The hole wasn't even all that really impressive. It was pretty much a straightforward par 4, straightforward. There's a nice big bunker in front of it, though, with a big mound in front of the green. But the hole was just ill-kept at best. Now, I won't say that I didn't see any effort in terms of maintaining the course. There was one guy running around, trying his best to do some greenskeeping in an annoying way, scurrying around behind holes when I'm trying to approach the holes, or turning on the water and on a green while I'm hitting an adjacent tee. He was, at least there. So I can't even say that there wasn't any greenskeeper fouling. There was greenskeeper fouling. It was a shame that there was greenskeeper fouling on a course where there really wasn't all that much greenskeeping. Most of the holes were in some sort of disrepair or lack of repair or something. A lot of the greens had wasp nests growing on the greens, big piles of sand, where the wasps had dug up the greens and tunneled under the surface of the greens. There was a lot of greens where, there were patches where the green was brown or like I said, black earlier. I took some pictures of the green on one hole. It was a really nice picturesque hole with a lake behind it, but there were wasp nests all over the green. It was really sad. I think it was like a lot like Lake Presidential in some ways, but worse. There were some obvious evidence of lack of maintenance at Lake Presidential, and that was the case here. And there were some good lake shots at Lake Presidential, and that was the case here also. It's just that the lack of maintenance here was even more extreme than it was at Lake Presidential, while Lake Presidential was clearly a better course. This course is not, it's a good course, but it's not Lake Presidential in terms of the quality of the layout, the length of the course. It's a moderate, I would guess, I'm going to have to put the numbers in here. It's a moderate 6,500 yard course. I would say it's probably a 131 slope. It's not a bad course at all to play. I played it, enjoyed it. Even though I was out there baking today, it was 90 some odd degrees in the sun. It has too many good holes. It's too much fun to say that it's not fun to play. It is fun to play. It's a good course. The course I would give at least a B plus. It's a very good course to play. Very fun, very good challenge, even for a intermediate to expert golfer. Nice course to play, but it's in borderline horrible shape. I saw some holes that had some not ripped up, but just fairways where we were just dead grass all over the place, and it looked like they had come out and laid new turf, and it didn't grow over, and there were still the lines for the turf, like one hole at Montclair. There's another hole that looks a lot like other holes that I've seen in other courses. There was a hole like at Oak Creek where you're teeing off, and it's a sort of a zigzag hole, I think it's number 17. Nice hole, but there's dead grass all over the place. There's dirt. It was like a nature course in that sense in some places. But some of the course is decently maintained. Not a lot of it, but some of it. Certainly the number 9 par 3, you couldn't really ask for that to be in better shape than it is. It was a nice little hole. I liked the layout. I thought the course was barely acceptable in terms of its condition, and it was nowhere near in the condition of a good course like Bull Run. Some courses like that where it's lush. It's the rough is lush. The fairways are nice and well greened and well rolled, and the sand traps are in great shape. This course was nothing like that. It's sad to say. I have to give it a C for the condition, but I'd give it a B plus for the layout. And it's got a decent clubhouse. I didn't really like the dogs. The dogs were just kind of generic dogs. I've seen worse, but they weren't great. $3 for a Gatorade, things like that. A little expensive, but it had at least a shower in the clubhouse, at least one shower. So not a great clubhouse, but not bad either. It was certainly a nice dining area, nice deck. You sit out and watch the ninth hole. It was a decent course. I also have to say it had a lot of houses. You're playing sometimes, almost out of people's backyards. A lot of houses, a lot of par 3s where there's OB just left the cart path, and very tight in some areas around the greens because there were so many houses around the greens. I give it a best to see for the housing. There's no shortage of shots where you're hitting and there's a house or 2 or 3 right behind the green. No question about that. A lot of fairways where you're teeing off and there's houses right next. There was one fairway, one tee shot. I was like, I can't even see how this guy doesn't get his house tattooed. There's a bend in the fairway and his house is just straight. Like if you went straight at that bend, the guy's house and driveway and car and everything would be right there. There's some trees to block, some shots, but not much. It has a lot of houses. It had some greenskeeper fouling. The course wasn't in great shape, but the layout was pretty good. I certainly would play this course again just for the layout. It was definitely entertaining, definitely a challenge, definitely entertaining enough. No doubt about that. Elevated greens, all over the place. A lot of verticality. Not too much. It wasn't like it wasn't overwhelmed with verticality. It had good verticality. So it wasn't anything that I would fault the course for. What I'd fault the course for is the greenskeeping was just easily the worst kept course that I've played, that I've reviewed. Easily. That's Virginia Oaks in Gainesville, Virginia. Otherwise, not a bad course, but not attractively maintained. Not at all.